they took down a whole point because they said it was excessive gymnastics and stuff like that. Yeah.
Excessive gymnastics.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was a whole mess.
Also,
It's a bit excessive, isn't it?
all right, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tally's like, I've been ready. All right, we've got an hour and a half. Tally needs to be out at 1:30.
Let's go.
If we're not done by then, she's
Max.
leaving and we'll finish up without her.
Max.
Oh, we want to be before. All right, quick, concise hour pod. Everyone speak double time. Hello, welcome to the Capsule. Well, are we recording? We're recording. We're good. We're live. It's happening. We're here. And we're all friends. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Capsule. Let's run that intro, Sophia.
So you did have permission.
Well, yeah, I just didn't. It was more supposed to be for dancing,
Oh, got it.
not for.
Just talking about the theme tune.
Yeah, it was made as a pack of different stuff to try out.
Right, I see. Fine.
And I thought it would be a good pod intro. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I'm not that sorry. It's
Fine.
really good. What's up, everyone? This is the Capsule. We are back at the East London Dance Talent House. So they are hosting us. If you didn't tune in last week, they're hosting us for the next few weeks. Massive thanks to them for having us in this beautiful space. And there are plenty of other beautiful spaces if you need a studio, if you need other stuff, mostly just studios though. But yeah, let's get straight down to business. How the fuck is everyone?
Who
me
is
first.
everyone?
Who is everyone? All right, well, we've got Lee Ricochet Putman in the house.
Yep.
Artist extraordinaire.
Yep.
Popper and of all the lockers.
Yep.
And got a beautiful face.
Come on.
How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Sick. Woo! Next. Firing on all syllables. I did that on purpose. Talladega.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
Really well. How are you?
I'm all right, mate.
Great.
Lovely.
What a dancer convo we've just
I
had.
know, right? Nice to
How are
have
you? Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, and then move on. Nice to have you back in the space, mate. You're always a welcome addition to the pod. Reclaiming your seats. Tally,
You know,
actually,
if I'm here about to dig into some industry-related business or chat shit.
yeah, maybe both.
Maybe.
And we have someone in the producer seat. Sophia. Say what's up, Sophia.
Hello. Oh, look at this.
She's got such a like soothing Swiss voice. She's just like, hello. Sophia is also available to hire as a videographer and to sing you to sleep if you need lullabies. This is
Just in your room at night.
yeah. This is a service that all Swiss people offer.
Taking a turn, bring it back.
Okay, bringing it back. This is why we need Tally here. So where to begin? Let's begin with your side of the world. More than the three of us,
Okay.
isn't it? It's
Sure.
Your industry, agency, ideas, identity
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk what the segues on this are just fire. They see how smoothly I'm just going. It's not so smooth, is it?
No, it's smooth like butter.
Oh, I like people who lie to me. Let's talk about the Dancer Network situation. What's the name of this agency?
ZinArts.
ZinArts. And we are going to actually speak to ZinArts. But what do we know as a prep? Is there any prep that we can prep?
Any prep that we can prep?
Shall we
So
prep?
Dancers Network posted 2 days ago just alerting dancers with red alarm emojis and attention dancers.
A lovely Canva layout.
An 8-post thread about ZinArts agency offering work with a fee of £10 an hour for up to 10 hours, saying that it's unacceptable and their perspective. Just, I think it was the situation itself, but then also just trying to encourage dancers to think further ahead than the job in the moment. And you might want to dance for so-and-so, but how does it look long term? And then ZinArts came back and defended it. Well, said it was a lie, actually, and defamation. I know. And then
Ding, ding, ding.
had their say that they paid more than that, posted government guidelines about agency work, which is not what I think they thought it was, but we'll talk about it. And just stated their opinion about it all. So there's been a little bit of a back and forth. And as with most issues on the pod, they tend to involve people. I just always think it's a good idea to offer said people a chance to speak for themselves rather than us hypothesize and theorize and
cool. Well, let's
otherizes.
Ezinne is her name, I believe.
Thoughts, Lee?
I'm excited to hear what's going to be said.
Woo!
I have no idea, by the way.
What you're about to say? You mean you didn't come with a script?
I didn't come with a script or a motive. Just
this podcast has always been scripted up till now. Everything you've heard has been scripted. So shall we call Ezinne?
Ezinne.
Lovely.
Shall we say it again?
I would love if you would.
Hello,
Hi, is that Ezinne?
this is she. Hi, Lou.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Ezinne.
Lovely. Okay, I got it right. This is Luke. Yes, hi. Nice to speak to you. We're currently recording the podcast right now. And yeah, I'm going to maybe more pass you over to my co-host, Chanel. She's also called Tally. So if you hear us say Tally, don't be concerned that there's an extra person in the space.
I'm an extra person.
I actually know talent.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we did Brits together, didn't we?
Great. Oh my God, not even. I remember when we had a massive online conference. I don't know if you remember this day. And it was discussing the dance industry.
2020, yeah, when we were all stuck at home, yeah.
Was it then?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was, wasn't it surrounding like BLM times? And there were loads of us, I think.
Even felt that. It's been a while.
But am I right that we both did the Brits together though?
For what? I wouldn't even know. It would be from Brits.
I thought we did, I'm not trying to flex, guys. I thought we did Rihanna together.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know you personally then. So I think
Tally just brings that up out of nowhere every time. Oh, was it Rihanna that... The last time I had that coffee was when I was dancing for Rihanna.
There were so many of us on it that even people that I've seen like a week ago, I'll be like, it was Rihanna when we last saw each other, wasn't it? In 2016. Yeah, I said to... Well, firstly, how are you? Sorry, so rude.
No, not a problem. I am well, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm
all good. I suggested to Luke when this came up and that we'd be discussing it somewhat, that it would just be nice to offer. I don't think it was necessary to get Dancers Network on the line and get their take, because they just stated what they thought to be facts with their opinions, but their opinions are their opinions about how dancers and agents should navigate. But I thought that it would be nice to give you an opportunity, even though you have counteracted and given your post and stuff, but just to state the situation as you saw it and anything that you thought Dancers United, wow, definitely an old thing. Dancers Network had said that they shouldn't have, or stated that was false and all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do appreciate that. I think even when we put out, when my team had sent it to me and we had put it out, it wasn't, and I think this opportunity is fantastic because what has been said. I think for me, the purpose of doing this podcast is to shed light on a lot of the hidden lack of knowledge that is happening in the industry, especially from an agency's perspective, because it's like a lot of dance creatives come from a dancer perspective, which is book me, let me be on a job, let me have all this great stuff, and let me go. But they never quite understand what it takes to run a business in the UK, to run an Afro dance business, and deal with not just client requirements, but business requirements, and trying to also manage supplier expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I work in corporate, so I work in HR.
Yes.
So the time I've spent in HR has actually allowed me to have a different view in terms of the dance industry. I don't view it any different from a workspace anymore.
Right.
Simply because I feel that, you know, back in the day when we used to have this conversation, myself, Dancers Network, members and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I used to be the one that'd be like, guys, let's stand together, let's make some clear rules and regulations, but no one really gave a crap. I don't know if you can swear on your platform.
Yeah, we can swear, don't worry. we've said way worse, don't worry.
You know, and it was very difficult back then, because back then this is where in Afro world they were just paying dancers £50. And I can remember the top artists were not willing. And what we were fighting against wasn't just people that weren't being able to pay. It was a mentality. I come from a country whereby when I told my parents I wanted to dance, they looked at me like, you're mad.
Mm-hmm.
Go and do your investment banking and go and sit down, you know? And because dance wasn't valued, and it has taken years. And I remember one of this artist management, and I don't want to say artist, I want to refer to artist management because they're in control.
Mm-hmm.
It's not artist.
Mm-hmm.
And management will say, oh, we only have this budget. And I can remember back then, this same artist management, we had a booking and it was like, they only had a budget of like £100. And fast forward 5 years later, we're still working together. And the last job they did, the dancers were on 1,500. And a lot of people don't understand the blood and sweat it takes to get them out of that mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the issue I feel dancers face in this industry, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room about the whole £10 thing. A couple of years ago, we got to a point where we got tired of providing opportunities, negotiating high upon high rates for creative, especially dance creative, for the directors or the management to DM the same dancer and knock us out because the dancer accepted a lower rate.
Mm-hmm.
We then asked dancers, hey, do you guys want to sign on exclusively to us? If you sign on exclusively to us, we know we are working for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we actively push rates, but it also protects our business requirements, because we still have to pay our lawyers, we still have to pay our accountants, we still have to pay our team members. It protects us. In a case whereby if you're doing this properly and you're registered to one agency, and which is what should be happening, where an agency cannot find you booking, because that's the biggest fear of most people, or if I stick to one person, I'm not going to get booked because they might just have a roster of bookings. The job of the agency is to partner with other agencies on your behalf.
Is to what? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So the job of the agency, so the job if you were exclusively to me,
Mm-hmm.
if I know this month looks like a quiet month for you, I would go and contact another agency and say, hey, I have this talent. I think they'll be fantastic on your roster. I am currently in a 20% dealing with them. If you guys find them a booking, please feel free to take 15% while we hold on to 5%. It's business. We have to.
Yes.
It's not about sitting here and everybody singing Kumbaya while everybody got rent to pay. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so sorry, just to I'm on a mild time crunch, a mild one, and I don't like if there's anything in that realm on like the zoomed out version of events that is pertinent to say, please do get it in. But can we just like zoom in a little bit to this scenario, or if not this scenario, not so much agency structure and relationship between agent and dancer, but actual rates of pay, because that does seem to be what the issue is in this circumstance.
From my understanding, a rate of pay from a government perspective clearly states agencies can pay national minimum wage. Now, this doesn't mean, and this all ties in, and I don't want us to skip conversation because we're out of time, because all this ties in. If a client, because we have exclusive creators who we negotiate for, and we negotiate because they have given us exclusive booking ability, right? We can negotiate as much as high rates because we trust that they're not going to go behind our back and try to undercut us as a business. And that's what happens in the industry. It's selfish. So we now do not, ZinArts, do not go out of our way to work extremely hard for people that have not exclusively signed to us. It's not fair for those that have exclusively signed to us. It's not fair.
Sure.
So in that mindset, we have teams. Before, when I started, I was doing everything. I am over the age, I am fully working. So I've broken up the team into teams so that people can do their job and I can focus on what's important, which is just creatively directing. Right now, when you have a managing director in your team who isn't a dancer, they're going to make management business decisions based on clientele budget, based on client requirements. Within our team, when that time comes, they make a decision. I'm not involved in that initial decision. They can come back to me and say, Ezinne, okay, we've tried this method. We're within law. We are within law. And that's the key thing. Dancers Network is not law. It's an association that provides a standard, which is a wonderful standard, but it's still a standard and not a law. And they cannot become crucifiers of people that are not within their union.
I do actually agree with your point, and it has been a sticking point for me as, you know, someone having discussions with equity, that it's really hard for us to have any base for argument if at the end of the day clients can charge less than what we're suggesting. Like, it's all well and good us fighting the good fight and having an industry standard, but if the legality is that they can pay like a third of what we're saying, we can only get so far before they turn around and say, well, yeah, lovely, but we're going to pay this amount. Sorry, go on.
Can I land on something? Because I think this is so important.
Mm-hmm.
When the initial £10, because that's what the budget permitted, right? It was a £10, 8-hour day booking. And that's what I read when I went through, just going through all of this now to read through what they had put out. And it was £10 for 8 hours, which was not illegal. And that's the first thing we have to understand. Secondly, they said, oh, Ezinne, by the way, creatively, what can you move around? Because few people have accepted. A lot of people are saying no because the rate is too low for them. So I said, creatively, I think we should do less rehearsal, tell the client we can't do as many songs, and we have to work within a budget and what can satisfy our suppliers, which is why we cut down rehearsal, cut down number of songs, because it's a negotiation. It's not, hey, do all of this for me. It's business. And a lot of people are here with their creative kumbaya heart, which is lovely, but we're in an entertainment business. Clients are doing business with us. Agencies are doing business with suppliers. And suppliers are offering a service because they want an income or they want something else in return. And that's all they have. If everyone said, and I remember I had this conversation with Dancers Network when we spoke before, I gave one of the clients the opportunity to go and cast themselves. I gave them a list of emails because I said, this rate is just ridiculous and it just cannot be possible. These clients contacted every single dancer. This is what about 60 dancers on their roster for a particular job. And out of those 60 dancers, 40 dancers accepted that booking, even after we had said no. Okay. What does that say?
Okay, so the £10 for 8 hours reference that you made, and like that being okay and like above board. So
no, it's about above board. It is legal. I think you have to understand.
I mean, we can say I mean above board as in like it's technically okay. So legal, yeah, like fine. I do accept that is what it is. I'm not trying to act like I'm not trying to put a right or wrong on it from my standpoint, but do you have an opinion about that being morally right or wrong in the context of our industry, or is it legal, illegal, and that's the end of your thoughts on the matter?
I think in this industry, value is a very subjective manner. Mm-hmm. Each person has like I'll take, for example, when I was in a conference with a director, and when this started, she went into the bar and listen, can I intern as a photographer? You don't have to pay me. Is that a legal standing? She knew she was going there. She knew exactly what she wanted. And the client also equally took advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now this director is one of the biggest directors in the world. Now the question is, that move that director made at a young age of, you know what, let me step in as an intern. Should they be for that because they didn't follow
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get to the heart of your stance on it as opposed to like the hypotheticals of it all. And if it helps for me to put my tuppence in the mix, I don't think that your point of view is like, and not in a way that is judgmental. I don't think it's one that hasn't been heard before. I've heard it many times before. I think what's unique to me in this circumstance is that you're a representative for talent and that you are negotiating on people's behalves. And I think the legal viewpoint is absolutely right. Like there's no getting around that. It is a thing. If I might just...
Sorry.
It's all right. I just think if you're negotiating on behalf of talent and people exclusively or not are putting their trust in you to act on their behalf in talking to suppliers and clients, for your bottom line to be, if it's legal, then that's a valid jumping point, then I think that there's something problematic in that. I do also think that what you put in your post about, if people say that's not what they want to work for, then that's on them, and then you won't get in touch again until the rate is whatever they've said their minimum is. I think that is a really positive thing to give the control back to the talent. I would just, your viewpoint, that like me hearing it before, tends to come from production companies, and again, it is a valid one, but I would hope that a talent representative and agent that is a mouthpiece for dance creatives would, I'm not saying you don't want to, but just where you land. Sorry, I'm really almost finished. Please just take notes. I do want to hear everything that you're going to say. Like me as an agent, as much as my bottom line is the industry standard, not the legal standard. And if that does me out of some commission, that's a sword I'm willing to fall on. And that is just me. But that's just where I'm coming from. And I think people that have had issue with the situation are coming from. It's not about what is legally allowed. It's about us trying to get more than that for our industry, and that falling on certain people to uphold that moral. And part of the collective that it might bode well to have uphold that moral would be talent representatives.
Okay, can I respond to that?
You absolutely can.
The first thing I do want to clarify is ZinArts agency is a booking agency. If we do not represent you exclusively, like I said, we represent people exclusively, who we go battle in our hand and we are fighting tooth and nail for. And that's because we have an exclusive working relationship with them, and that's our business structure.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to want to self-manage or self-represent, that is a choice that you've made. We've never stopped anyone from saying, hey, ZinArts agency has reached out to us. Here is my agency's number. Please contact them. We've never stopped that happening.
Mm-hmm.
We've also never stopped someone that has said, listen, this doesn't work for me. And I'm like, well, this is good for you. Think about exposure. We've never said that. We've never encouraged that. In fact, we always say, listen, if this is your value and this is not your value, say no.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stance. But if you're not willing to come on board and work with us so that we can work for you, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And that's the stance I am on.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not willing to pass, and this is also for other agencies, because all agencies are losing out. I had a conversation the other night where it was drawn to my attention that there's this massive booking of a dancer, and she was contemplating whether to address it herself or contact an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And she was having this conversation. She was like, I don't want to send it to this agency to do it for me because they're going to take 20%. And this wasn't about my agency. This was another agency. And you can see the mindset of doing the work to protect you. You still find it difficult to give us just 20% for the work. And
just 20% is a bit of a reach though, because that's like a fifth of the pay. So it's not just, it is quite a big slice.
If you're negotiating at the premium, don't forget you're imagining, I don't know if do you own a business or are you a sole agent? I think I need to clarify that.
I'm the sole agent. I'm the agency manager of Zoo Nation, the Kate Prince company.
Exactly. I'm not a sole agent. I have an agency. We have employees. So we're not just one person doing work. It's a team of people that also need to be paid. So it's very technical, and that's why we don't want to put it on anyone to say, oh, I have to do this. No, you don't have to. You can fully do it yourself because you feel that you have the knowledge and the experience to do it yourself. So you are for people self-representing, just in relation to the story that you just told about the girl that wanted to do it herself and not give away 20%. I'm happy for you to self-represent, but do not come out and start crying when that self-representation didn't work, when you have a plethora of agencies that you're registered to. There's no dancer that's registered to one agency. They're registered to 2, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 people to speak to, but you choose not to. Why? Why do you choose not to?
I mean, as an agent and a performer still, I do understand why, because agent and performer relations aren't always the best. So I do understand why performers might be hesitant, but one would hope that everyone has got at least one that they trust. But I also think that there's an issue because it sounds like, and do correct me if I'm wrong, by it being a booking agency, that it's more about the finding the work for the talent and like connecting supplier and talent as opposed to representing talent.
Exactly. We find the work for you. You determine your rate. We present what the client is offering. You say yes, you say no, you say forget this, fuck this, I'm out.
I think that's a very healthy distinction to make, because I think some agencies dress up as representatives and in fact they are just connecting the dots, and really in those circumstances, in my opinion, the commission should be lower because there's not as much of a service being provided. It's more like finder's fee vibes as opposed to like full package representation at the end of the phone when you have an issue and all that jazz. Like if you just want to go, hey supplier, here's the talent, do they fit the brief? Great. Here, okay, give me my little slice and I'm going to back out and leave you guys to it. Like I do think that's an okay way to do it. Not saying you are or not, I'm just clarifying that I think that's fine. I just think it's about being very black and white about that being the setup.
Absolutely. Because anyone that is exclusive to us, you have an exclusive contract with us. Anyone that is not exclusive to us, you just get a creative handbook, which is just highlighting the terms and conditions on working with us on this project. And you go your way and we go our way. We're not asking you for anything. You're not asking us for anything. We find you work, you do the job. We are currently working on a contract right now. And in the same scenario, here's the job. The girl has negotiated for herself. She said, listen, I have a contract. I said, give us the contract. We'll get it signed off by the client and we'll pay you your deposit. These are things, and if you don't want us to do it for you and give us money to do it for you, we're not going to do it for free. You do it yourself and take all your money yourself. But do not expect to have your cake and eat it, because this is why the industry doesn't change. There is no strict and clear form of running an agency, and we have just clarified ours. We clarify, if you're not exclusive, you handle it yourself. You can equally speak to an agency to handle it on your behalf. But we will, if you tell us, hey, you're represented, you can talk to my agency, we will never contact you. We will contact the agency because that's what you have said.
Sure. I've got 3 other people in the room with me, as you know.
Oh, sorry.
No. There's no need to apologise. But before recording, we did say that it might be useful for the convo, so we don't just like narrow ourselves into like a whole of things that we only we know the meaning of, etc., etc. That they might have questions or thoughts to throw in the thing, or they might be like, yeah, we're done here, moving on. I doubt it's that one, but
No, I don't think I have too much to add. I think it's interesting because it's one of those things where, I don't know. It's a whole. There's 5 or 6 different topics in there, I guess. But I do hear, especially on the like,
of things. It's not just one.
Exactly. And I do hear on the like kind of what's the legality of it side, because it's like, you know, I hear both sides, to be honest, with all of this. I don't know that I have anything extra to add. I just think it's like there's...
Can I ask a question to you
Sure.
guys?
Yeah.
You guys are quite heavy in the industry. I'm in a niche market.
Sure.
So my market is we're not doing Commonwealth. We're not on that level. We're very small group of people. So my question is to you. I recently did a project with Burna Boy and WizKid.
Mhm.
And on this project, I was working with a commercial choreographer and agency owner as well.
Mhm.
And in this project, rates were provided. I believe on the rate for music videos, I think it's over £400 on Dancers Network.
412.50, yeah.
Yeah. But on this particular job, which was I was brought in as an assistant, on this other job, this non-Afro, because I'm from the Afro niche, non-Afro, very commercial, accepted less than that.
For a music video.
For a music video, absolutely. They also casted, so in the casting, they had asked me to send people originally for casting. I sent in my casting, and 10 out of the 20 people I had sent over had already been sent over by them. So there's a duplication there as well. My question is, why do you think this Dancers Network representative kind of vibe person accepted the job lower than the standard of Dancers Network? Why is that? Especially for an Afro job. Why is that?
I mean, I don't know why you'd think we'd know that, but I don't know why you'd think we were experts in the field.
No,
but as you say,
what I mean,
everyone is a individual, and before going to an agent, well, it sounds like everyone that was contacted was like self-representing, like as much as everyone, including agents, is made aware of the standards and minimums and all that jazz, the same way that you go, well, it's above minimum wage still, so we're going to supply it. Like, it's on an individual to make that choice for better or worse as well. If they can't make their rent that month, like, they're going to take the music video. If, you know.
But can you see how there is no, you know, and that's the issue with our industry. Our industry doesn't have a right or wrong answer. It's how do you feel that week?
Yeah, I mean, that felt mildly like an opportunity to throw a jab at Dancers Network, but we'll let it go.
I think my thing would be that, like, I don't think, you know, you said our industry doesn't really have like a right or wrong answer. I think business doesn't really have a right or wrong answer in general. It's like my job, if I'm whatever, like I'm trying to sell you something, my job is to make you pay as much as you can, and your job is to pay as little as you can. And that's the back and forth, and we negotiate till we both are kind of happy.
Yes.
And someone always, most of the time, someone always wins and someone always loses in business.
I think, as I experienced when Dancers United was a thing, you kind of get to the point with the red tape surrounding equity and legalities versus industry standards where it has to just turn into a point of, you have to kind of cut your losses a little bit. I think Dancers Network are getting a little further along in the fight than we did, but it just turning into a form of education. You can only arm everyone with the information that is there and just hope that the individuals are making the right decisions. I've got a question for you that you touched upon it at the very beginning, actually, and then it's kind of come back around again. But speaking about Afro dance in comparison to commercial dance, and it is niche and specific, but it's also huge. And I'm interested in, from your perspective, what the difference is in running an agency that deals with that specifically, how that is any different, or how it's different, because it clearly is, to a commercial.
It's very. I think the first thing you have to recognize, and I don't know if a lot of people agree with me, there's a difference between doing things with Black people and doing things with Nigerian people. It's two worlds apart. And, you know, I've been to Nigeria once to work, and in the Nigerian system, they're not paid for rehearsal. That's the Nigerian dance system. They are paid on the day of the show, and they are paid about maybe, let me do an actual calculation because I don't even want to mix it. So back then, 32, 10, 100. Sorry, I'm doing a quick math. I know you can see it.
No, it's fine.
So they'll be paid £60 for a full day show.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine the likes of your biggest artists are not artists that grew up in the UK or have all this understanding. They have been on the clear understanding that dancers are not valued, dancers are not paid, none of that exists. So going from where they're used to paying someone 50 to £60 for a full day show, including rehearsal, right, to trying to convince that just for a rehearsal is 180.
Mm-hmm.
They look at you like, are you mad? And it's difficult because when you're with them, you know them, so you know how they work. So if you are smart, you're going to work around them and help them come slowly. And this is why for the clients that are paying what they pay now, it's been an uphill battle that I've pushed for years and years of sweat. But for it to, you know, I gave an opportunity more recently to a choreographer, for choreography. The very first time they were given that opportunity, the next thing this creative did was go behind the business back to speak to the client and ask the client that, oh, they're willing to do the job. Think of years of investment, that years of trying to get that, and we get that return. It's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, what comes to mind in that, it sounds like a contract that I've got as a choreographer. Is like, it makes me think of a royalty where it's this, but then when we recoup this much, you'll get an increase, and if we recoup that much, you'll get this increase. And it's like, yeah, okay, we'll do it for £100 this time, but working to, like, after 12 months it will be this, after 24 months it will be this, and like something on paper that alludes to what you are fighting for, which is to eventually get it to be a certain thing. Like, I'm sorry that that happened to you.
No, it's business, and that's what I had to learn, that when you're in here doing this, and you have, and that's the thing, like, I have the best intention, but I'm no longer a stupid business owner. That's the only thing. I'm no longer leading my business based on, oh, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I am leading my business based on clear directives. Do you want to be exclusively represented so that we work hard for you? Yes or no? No, no worries. You work hard.
So when you like refer to the holding hands and Kumbaya thing that you've said a few times, like that in relation to what we're talking about is what exactly?
So I recently had a chat with Dancers Network a couple of weeks ago, or months ago actually, and I was trying to give them an insight to how, because they were saying that, oh, ZinArts agency, we really want you to come on board and all of that. And I said, okay, conversation stemming at least 4 or 5 years now, right? Or this Dancers United first and then Dancers Network, and we've been having this chat. And I wanted to ask, what is it that you're confirming is on paper that even if it's not legal in terms of the government, but as the unit of the Afro dance world, we are agreeing. The Afro dance world is very small. I can name every single creative agency owner with my hands. I know everybody. And I said, why is it that we cannot agree that, listen, we put every dancer, this is the idea I gave them. I said, all Afro they should register on the Dancers Network, or now that they have Afro Dancers Network, let all of them register. Every single creative, head of creative, so choreographers, agency owners, are signing that they will only Afro dancers who are registered in this network to work. on those grounds of that pay rate. Till today, no one has agreed to that. Why is that?
No one meaning suppliers.
Sorry?
When you say no one's agreed to it, do you mean suppliers or talent? Sorry.
No, agency owners. It's not for the talent to, because we are of the booking.
Yes. Okay, got you.
So I was saying, okay, you with your crew, because you're all getting bookings. If you're still going under the facade of, oh, I'm just a dancer, you're casting people indirectly. We all agree that this is the standard rate that we're going to work on. We're signing. But we're also agreeing that all the dancers that are trained and professional will register under this network so that we are under the same bag. And we know at a point when we are booking, we are only booking from there. If a dancer comes to me and says, oh, Ezinne, I want to be, I'll say, oh, you have to join this. So make sure we read the documents, read the rules, so that we are all under the same rule. I remember having this, and this is literally 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, it was the Afro dancers that said, oh, no, that's too complicated. Why? It is something clear, something logical, and something that gives clear, concise control into a small niche market that we can control. But they don't want it because everyone is clearly in competition with everyone and no one wants to laugh. On top of that, I sent a booking because now I just send you the contract and ask you your rate. I sent a booking to another agency, Afro agency owner, very popular. I said to her, hey, this is the booking directive. This is what we need. How much do you charge? She said, I will pay, for me, I will be charging 1,500. And for my dancers, they will earn 200. No lie.
Right.
Now, this is my industry. This is the people I deal with on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. So
if that's the case, nothing is stopping anyone unless you have something signed. I'm in legal mental space. I'm in a business space. If nothing is written and signed, we have no ground.
Yes, I hear it.
Asking for things to be signed. I asking for things to be agreed as a unit. Why is everyone deflecting? But Dancers Network has the cheek to want to do condemn crucify. I don't have that energy because I've given you remedy on remedy, but you've chosen not to do it. You've chosen not to gather, but you're quick to condemn. I'm not about it.
I think that you have arrived at a really solid, not conclusion because it's a very nuanced topic, but you bringing it back to the situation at hand feels to us like a decent place to close the convo for now, if that is okay with you.
No, that's why I have to go back to work.
Crack
anyway.
on with business. But I hope you felt that you got to speak your piece. It was definitely educational from my perspective, and I'm glad that you were around to chat. I'm not the host of this pod, so I'm going to throw it back to Luke now. But
you are a
thank
host.
you,
You're
Ezinne.
a
I
co-host.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate that.
No, thank you guys for giving the opportunity. And I hope the conversation continues being had. But I also hope people are taking the opportunity to educate themselves in this area, but also recognize that businesses exist and businesses need to function. Yeah. And it will work for everyone, not just for dancers.
Yeah, I think that's, I think, and especially I think the conversation and the, I always say that like stuff on Instagram is always hard to like get fully deep into the conversation. So I think these type of things are good when we can fully explain ourselves and get those points across. But yeah, thanks so much for calling in. I hope the rest of the day goes well.
No, you guys have a lovely day and thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Slow blink from Lee.
Yo, man, what's going on?
Processing.
That's the longest I've ever not talked for.
Sorry.
In my life. No, I'm joking. It's fine.
Potential.
Jesus.
Sophia,
dense.
You doing an 8-hour job for £10 an hour?
Wait, you mean like a dancing job?
Yeah. Would you take it?
Now?
Yes. Now, you as today, right now, how much money you have in your bank account?
Like right now?
Right today, like the amount that is showing up on your Monzo right now. Are you taking that job?
Yeah, after coming back from the US right now, yeah, I would definitely take that job. Sorry, guys.
So this is I guess the thing, and then not to go too deep back into the conversation, is like, how do you, someone in our position, convince someone who's broken young, like, sorry, no offense, to not take those jobs? Do you know what I mean?
I don't want anyone to like guilt trip anyone into not doing the work, but if you know that it's supposed to be 180 and that you're going to work for 80, at least like that's going to feel a bit shit.
Yeah.
And hopefully it feeling a bit shit means that you won't be doing that forever.
Yeah, as much as you can not do it. Like,
yeah, like you've got to pay your rent, you need to buy food, like get it. But hopefully the knowledge that you're supposed to be getting like 2.5 times that will be like, oh, I have to right now. But you're not just going to be like skipping to work like winning, because you know that it's not ideal.
Yeah, yeah.
And that will hopefully be the start. Like it is really hard. And I get what she's saying.
Yeah.
Like I do understand it, the legalities of it, and that's why it's so tricky to get better. I just think, like I said to her, it's just a bit unfortunate that it's an agent that thinks that way. But again, if she sees herself as a booking agent, because when she posted that government thing about like what is essentially like a temping agency type thing, no one really sees dance agents like that. But if that's how she sees her, just as the conduit between supplier and talent, then unfortunate, but sure.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because it's like we hope that agencies like
who's communicating it to the suppliers if it's not you?
Yeah,
if you're the conduit between the two and you're like, yeah, we'll do it, when are they ever going to receive the information that it's supposed to be 3 times more?
And I guess that's the whole point of having an agent, is that they have your back with these things. Like, I mean, Nads has done that for me when I wasn't even on a job for her. Like, I was on a job for someone else, and she was like, right, here's all the things. And I was like, what does this mean? And she's like, right, here's what that means. Here's how you do this, whatever. But I guess the fact that, like, if you're someone's agent is like, if there's a problem, like they're offering too little money or they're offering some sort of workplace, like, you know, they're saying do this and you feel uncomfortable or whatever, your agent is the one that's supposed to come in all guns blazing and ride for you with a bit more power and experience and maybe some legal documents at hand to defend you. And I guess that's kind of what I would imagine is more the fight here, is not so much, or maybe that's the like bigger topic, is like, it's not, oh, you tried to give a job to people that was less. It's like, you as an agent are supposed to be riding for, like, we know these clients, and this is where the business side comes in, because it's like anyone in the world that has money is trying to keep as much of it as possible and give away as little of it as possible. And anyone that doesn't have money or is looking for work is trying to get as much possible while doing the least amount possible. Like, that's what we, you know, it's like we all want a higher hourly rate for less work, you know? So that's always the back and forth. But the idea being is that the business, that the agents are the ones that are supposed to come in and go, look, we're not necessarily money motivated. Obviously everyone is, but like, we're trying to ride for you kind of thing, so that you can get more and also you can be happy with the service. Because also the agent, I guess, would work on the other way for the client, for the client. So if your dancer did some bullshit at a job, the agent is the one that would go, like, it wouldn't be the client saying, well, you were rude to this person, and it would be like, we're going to pass this on to the agent, and the agent would say to the dancer, listen, we need to have a meeting. So it's like, they're the ones doing all the mediation. And if the person doing the mediation doesn't have the right standards, then you can't really trust all the, do you know what I mean? Because the agent is the one saying, trust me, this is fine. And so then you kind of are like, oh yeah, £10 an hour is fine. And then you realize, oh shit, it's not.
It sounds more casting agency like to me.
Yeah. And I think, you know, again, maybe it's just a misunderstanding of like, we all want an agent to do one thing. And then they're like, no, well, we're this type of agent. We're just going to give you the thing. And
yeah, and I think it is on talent somewhat to have that conversation with an agent. Like, what is the exchange here?
Yeah, yeah.
And not just because it says agent, just assume that it's like a full luxury package of representation, because it really might not be.
Because what you said as well is like, if you're not doing all that riding on my behalf, then I'm giving you less of a percentage.
Yeah, you're not getting like just 20%. I was like, just?
Yeah, 20% is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, plus you're paying taxes and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, on the 20% thing being a lot of money, yeah, like, relatively it is, right? But like, if we're doing the thing of like, having one kind of mindset of like, yo, look, you're getting £80 for a job when you know you could be getting 180, right? We're comparing it to what could be, right? So I come from, obviously I'm part of the fine art world now. Like a standard percentage like is anywhere between 30 to 50
From
the agency, from the gallery. They're taking like, you can, like a gallery can take up to 70%.
Wow.
And it's considered
fine.
Not fine, but it's considered like, all right, we have to kind of put up with it. So yeah, you could be like, if we're looking at the same thing, like from my perspective, it's like, yeah, 20,
you'd kill for 20%.
Yeah, at least in art, like,
Yeah.
like I just.
But is that reflected in the price?
Depends if you are good enough or not.
Also, it might depend on the services that an art agent provides versus the services that a dance agent provides, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like if the art agency is also kind of acting as, I don't know, like they're doing more stuff and that's how they justify 50%. Whereas a dance agency is like, yeah, 20% is a lot because we're only getting this much for it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that would work like 20 years ago, but now you got the internet. It's like the mad thing is that these galleries, let's go too far into it, but these galleries will have these percentages and they won't have as much influence on the market as they did before, right? So like there are some galleries that will charge 35% and they would do 0. Like
It's just because it's hanging in their gallery.
Or it's just because it's online on their platform.
Right.
They're not even actually hosting it at all.
Right.
And it's, yeah, so it's like, not to justify the fact that you can take a fifth of someone's pay, but
I think
be
also
worse.
when it's a fifth of not much. Like if a gallery's got your art hanging for like half of what you think it's worth and then they're taking a slice of it, it's like, come on, man. But in art, like if you're only going to negotiate £80 for me for the day
then
and then take 20%, it's like, okay.
Because yeah, I guess if you say you were like, oh, I valued this painting, like I want to charge £1,000 for this. And then they were like, no, we're going to put it in our gallery for 30 grand. And then we're going to take 50%. You're like, okay, well, that's a lot. But also you're selling it for more than I was going to say. You know what I mean? So you're getting both of us more money than I would have. Whereas I guess what Tally's saying is like, you're making me less money than I thought I was going to get.
You're taking a cut of like
on my own.
Paltry sum. Also, there was something in like, I wanted to ask her, so do you work harder for do you charge your exclusive and non-exclusive talent the same commission? Because it sounds like you ride really hard for your exclusives.
Yeah.
And like, for the people that are in and out.
Which I kind of get.
But if you take the same amount off of them, then no, not so much.
How come?
I don't think, if I don't provide the same service, I can't charge the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
amount.
so it's like, giving a fee for a different, like if I...
But then I get 20% of $1,000 and 20% of 500. Like it is
so then it's percentage. Because if it was like, we're going to take...
Not that she charges 20% necessarily,
sure. But if you're like, I'm going to take £100 from whatever job you get, then but if it's 20% and then you're saying that the people who aren't exclusive to you are getting less money, that means you're getting less money from them and you're getting more money from the ones you're signed for. I guess it kind of should, in theory, like scale in the right places, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Soz to anyone that isn't interested in this topic at all, so we've been here for a while.
If you've just skipped to this time code, welcome to the
you're
Capsule.
not really doing time codes anymore, are you?
Well, thanks for saying that on the podcast.
You can edit it out.
No, I'm joking. I'm not. No.
Why?
I'm going back and forth. To be completely transparent with you, I'm just trying different stuff to see what works and what doesn't, and the feedback I get. So yeah, some like even with the promotion and with the pod. With the time codes and I don't know, just different with the thumbnails. I'm just trying different things to see what affects what. So, but I know a lot of people do like the time codes.
Yeah.
So shall bring that back, I think, because that is the feed. That's feedback I'll take down right now. But yeah, a lot of people have said about the time codes. I just wanted to see.
I mean, obviously, ideally, everyone's listening to the whole or watching the whole thing, but
yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. Is like if I don't put the time codes,
what happens?
Is it more encouragement for everyone to just tune in for the whole thing? And if the views stay the same, because the Spotify does have time codes as well, but maybe some of the other listening platforms don't. So I'm like, okay, is it people who will just listen to the whole thing and then see what they see, or is it like an advert when they look at the time codes? Oh, this is what I'm getting. But yeah, just trying stuff out basically. No real rhyme or reason for that.
Lovely.
So yeah, basically I'm going to take 20% of all your pay for this podcast. So I'm left with a grand sum of nothing. Sophia, how was Arizona?
It was hot.
Was it?
It was very, very hot.
Are you wearing a t-shirt?
Woohoo!
Yeah.
She's of course wearing a t-shirt, but she's wearing a t-shirt with Arizona on
You
it.
finally showed up to pod with a t-shirt on. Jesus. Tell us, what were you there for? What was going on?
I went to HHI to represent the UK with Unity UK
Boom, boom, boom.
Hip Hop International World Championship.
Wow.
How'd you guys do?
We actually did very well. We placed 13th in
Sick.
the adult category out of 44 groups.
So you're 13th best in the world right now, sitting in the room with me.
Oh my god.
I know,
my
right?
God.
No.
You know what? Double your salary. Double what you're getting paid right now. You can have it. What's 2 times nothing? Yeah. That's so good though.
Yeah, it was. It was
What
really
category is that?
adult, so that's over 18 and between 5 and 9 people in a group.
Sick. Okay. And who else was there from UK?
There was Dark Angels.
We spoke about them, didn't we? No, you weren't here for that. Who did I speak about that
I'm
with?
not sure. They won the Florida competition like a few months
Are
ago.
they the ones that have the TV show?
Yeah, they did something for E4, like a
Yeah.
documentary.
They're from Bristol, I think.
I never
Yeah.
watched that in the end.
I also similarly did not watch that.
I want to though.
Yeah, they came 19th too, so they did really well too.
Let's see that little subtle flex. She's like, yeah, they didn't place as high as us, but yeah.
I didn't say that.
They came a few places below us, but they did really good.
No, but it was a mess because they got like a lot of deduction points and they had to make like a whole procedure with the competition because basically they had like a lot of tricks in their set.
Okay.
And they took down a whole point because they said it was excessive gymnastics and stuff like that. Yeah.
Excessive gymnastics.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was a whole mess.
Also,
It's a bit excessive, isn't it?
yeah, this gymnastics is. Also, am I out of line if I say that that's surprising that happened at HHI? Excessive gymnastics at HHI. What is that like?
I'm sure they've got like a maximum amount you can do. 'Cause there's
Well,
there's
what is
very
there-
specific criteria.
Yeah.
There
But I mean,
was-
like, just from the outside, I'm like, what is the limit? Or like, is the limit not 95% of your set now?
Right.
No?
Right.
Am I being a
Right.
dick?
I haven't seen it in about a decade, so I.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I'm like,
Like cheer squad.
yeah, there's a bunch of flips 24/7 in these sets. So I'm like, what is their limit? What did they do to exceed that? There's just one guy
No,
doing
honestly.
somersaults for the whole set. It's like, all right, he needs to stop.
No, but when you do like flips every 8 or you roll on the floor to do every transitions, like it's just too much. And
Excessive gymnastics is such a backhanded, like, yeah, that was
Impressive skill, but
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah,
Two
sorry.
rolls too many. That was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
no, but it's just when there's a moment where it just like comes to be like cheerleading and
Yeah.
like they just throw people like to the roof like every 5 seconds and you're just like, okay, it's cool the first time, but now it's just a bit too much.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
there was a lot of problems with many groups like that got so many deductions. There's one group from France in category mega crew, which is from 9 to 40 people.
40 people is so
yes.
many.
Quite
Yeah.
a wide range.
That's
as
a
well.
smaller
9
ve-
to 40.
Yeah.
Like the first
You've
round,
got 8? No. 41? No. That's one too many people. Yeah, sorry, go on. Like, why stop there? Yeah, sorry.
no, they just like the first round, if they didn't have that deduction from the gymnastics.
This is the French crew? No.
Yeah,
Okay.
French crew. They would have came second, but they placed 25th.
Holy shit.
Whoa!
Because of excessive gymnastics.
Because of them and the Dark Angels, like everyone, all the groups that got this deduction, like went to like the HHI thing, and like
Complained?
everyone went through and they canceled that deduction for everyone.
Oh.
It was a mess.
That is
A
dramatic.
mess.
What,
That
as
is.
in like took it back?
Yeah,
Or
they,
like gave it back kind of thing?
like they gave back the point, but like points in HHI, they only rate like from 0 to 10. So 0.01 could change your placement.
Yes.
Mm.
So when you give it back a whole point, it's
Where was the
crazy.
documentary crew for
I
this?
judged. I'm sure it was a HHI qualifier. Maybe it was a World of.
You judged World of Dance in Italy, no?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of. It was in Italy as well, but it was just a bit more specific, and there was like a head judge there, and it was very tightly done and structured. And I'm like, these like tenth of a points thing, like how do you,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like whole numbers, half a point at the most, but getting into the 0.01s
That's very like techie.
of it all is
0.01 is a wild, like, you're like, that person was 0.
Oh, that's serious. You can actually grade someone 0.01.
like,
or like that fraction, that
it could be
smaller
like
fraction.
8.21 and then,
Yeah.
8.22.
Like,
Mad.
like numbers are obviously arbitrary when you're scoring someone anyway, but how
Yeah,
can you be like, no, that's
exactly.
an 8.21 and no, that's an 8.46.
It's the
Yeah.
angle. You're like, well, that foot was
Wild.
clearly at a 47-degree angle.
Wild. I feel like
They're there with rulers and protractors, like watching the.
I feel like there's something in all having to watch like 5 or 10 sets on telly, like before judging, just so the adjudicators have a sense of.
We talked about this last week. That's what UDO does.
Because do they now?
So, well,
'Cause
when-
that wasn't a do they now. That was a like, do they do that now? Because like the first crew that I watch, I always feel quite sorry for, because like you're my benchmark.
Bar, yeah. And then you kind of.
And then it goes wild, not wild from there, but it goes from there.
Well, what they did when I did UDO training was like, they kind of talk you through the whole syllabus, not syllabus, criteria and all that. And then once they've kind of explained everything and you kind of ask any questions you want or whatever, John Graham did my training. And it's like, they play you like 4 or 5 sets. I think some of them are supposed to be like 10s or really high. Some of them are supposed to be low and a few in the middle.
Yeah.
And then they say, right, like in your paper, mark out how you would mark these people. And then we show it and then they say,
That's
well, why
good.
did you give that? Why did you give that? Let's kind of see.
I mean, I get it, there's criteria and very specific. It's like rights and wrongs in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
But to be like, that should score highly. It's like, well, I thought it was rubbish.
yeah.
But that's just
I
not
guess-
how those comps work.
No,
is
but I
it?
think,
It's
I mean,
like-
this is the whole thing we had last week where we were talking about judging, but I think it's more that you do it within the criteria. So if you say, you know, I think their composition was shit.
or they only did one style, or they
Yeah.
didn't do any transitions.
Yeah, and it's as long as you've gone through, and if your opinion is like that, but you've considered all the different categories, then it's like, all right, well, at least, you know, we can find you. Because there was some that I differed from the judges that in the training quite wildly. Not wildly, but by a fair few points. And then when I explained it, they were like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like they didn't necessarily agree or change theirs, but it's like, it wasn't, oh, you've considered this
it was
stuff.
based on the
Yeah.
criteria. You were at UDO, weren't you?
Yeah, are we not hearing more about HHI?
I
What
don't
would
know.
you like to know about HHI? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, go on, contribute.
Yeah, no.
How much did you drink?
It gets nuts there, doesn't it?
Was it wild?
What do you mean wild?
She's like 1 or 2 bit. Or me and Lee, I'll tell you something, mate. When we went to Vegas, we were drinking till 9 in the
We
morning.
were drinking. We were drinking.
Yeah, we got turned all the way up.
You had 3 pints, that means.
No, but like, you know how I handle my drink. We were legit like drinking. That was like
Drinking.
one of the only times I've gone that and Euroball maybe, which was a mistake. But like there was one point where someone like, we were in a hotel room with like maybe like 20 people and the first year. And like someone opened the things and it was like daylight and people were like going to breakfast and stuff. And we were like, what's happening? And they were like, it's 9 a.m. And we were just like still doing that, which I don't do anymore, but I was 18.
It was amazing. Did you do that?
I didn't do that.
Do you drink
unfortunately.
at all?
Yeah, I
Okay.
drink, but
But not like,
not all of us were 21, so it was a bit tricky.
oh yeah, I mean,
So
us either. We just did it in the hotel room.
when we went, it was in a big resort. Was yours
Yeah.
in one place?
Yeah, it's the same concept like in a resort. The competition is in a resort,
Cool.
and then they should do the final in arena, but this year they were kind of broke, so it was just in the same room.
This year they were kind of broke. That's hilarious.
Brilliant.
Sick. And who won?
In adults, it's Thailand group called Awesome
From where?
Thailand
Thailand. Okay, fair.
that are really good at breaking. Yeah.
Did you
that's
like
it.
them?
I was thinking, I was like, the way she's saying it is like
Yeah.
she's holding back a personal
They
opinion.
were
Yes.
good at something.
They were
Is it
technically.
excessive gymnastics?
No, they were good, but I honestly I didn't even watch them live because we were dancing every time, and then finals there was like a bit mess confusion and people couldn't actually watch it live. It was but I watched the qualifiers and did the same set, and yeah, it's just they're like technical stuff that I don't really understand. Why would they go through? But
What do you mean, like technical stuff of breaking?
like for example, I feel like their popping was just not like technically like correct.
Oh, like why would you do those techniques if you can't do them?
Yeah, exactly. Like they were doing it in the wrong way, if that makes sense. But yeah, I guess it was just performance
Fucking
and
Castro
energy.
over it. No, go on. Yeah, carry on.
But yeah, so they won that category. It's so cool.
Is it weird to do the same set twice? Like having it as their qualifier and then doing it again in the final? Like, is that a done thing?
I mean, I guess they didn't have
That's
the
what I
exact
think so.
same one, but like, I mean, you need to work with one thing to make it better, because if you keep changing it, then it's not gonna,
Yeah, true.
like, we had the same like concept and same choreos, but we built on it, if that makes sense, to make it fit the criterias, because they really have like a lot of criterias. Like you need to do like minimum freestyles, you need to do like footwork levels, you need to travel, like there's so many stuff you need to take account. So
Well, as in they demand that of you?
yeah,
Wow.
Is that
that's
hard?
why you like,
Or at least you're marked on how, like they're not saying you have to do level, but they're like mark out of 10 on the levels, mark out of 10
Yeah.
on the transitions.
Well, but you're saying like you do have to do a minimum of freestyles.
Oh yeah, that
minimum
part
of
is a
freestyles,
minimum,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
really interesting.
But I guess with stuff like levels, transitions, stuff like that, it's not a minimum of, it's a
you just need to do
You'll be
it.
a mark
marked
out of
on
10
it.
on how good it was.
But even
yeah.
the fact that any of it is even prescriptive,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
like, is a bit wild to
Yeah,
me.
it's
We
crazy.
had a big old debate when we were on a
Yeah.
job about this, about the idea of them demanding styles from you, because it's like, not to
Wild.
necessarily start the debate again, but like about why the debate we had came from Sophia kind of saying to me, like, how come freestylers don't really love HHI or don't really kind of respect it as much as maybe the people in it do? And I was saying a lot of times it's because of us looking at it and seeing them doing, like, if you go to like a choreo competition, or whether it's Dancers Delight, whether it's like whatever, you see people doing choreo and you're like, okay, that's choreo. But when you look at HHI, or sometimes even UDO, but less so UDO, but with HHI specifically, you see like a popping, or it's supposed to be like a popping set, a locking set, a breaking set. And we're like, oh, you're clearly trying to do the stuff that we're doing, but you're not like delving into it deep enough to be able to do it. It's just like the bare minimum of that style. And this is where like me and Sophia were going back and forth. She cussed me out. But like, just to say my opinion on that. But I think it's because it's like, oh, you have to do minimum 3 styles. People aren't like, oh, well, we're like, if, let's say if Primal Instincts entered HHI,
Yeah.
they couldn't just go and smash it like they would at Battle of the Year and just do a breaking showcase and kill it because they're super strong at one style. They would have to find 2 other styles. And when you want to enter, and especially if like, you know, of course you can not enter if you don't want to, but if you want to enter, it's like, well, all right, well, we're just going to have to fucking throw together 2 other styles and make it look good enough. And that's kind of, I think, where some people don't like what they see, because it's like, you might be, like you said, they're strong at breaking, but it's like, why are you doing these other styles? Because the competition forces you to, which doesn't really, it doesn't, as long as you can get away with it, it doesn't really encourage you to really give a shit and delve deep into the style, I don't think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and is there a reason that they demand that of you? Like, do they justify what do they say? Like, it's to promote street dance or something?
Yeah, I think that's the whole point, because they want to like I guess like force people to like I don't know, learn more about styles and like just be involved in the hip hop culture.
Because I guess if you're saying it's the UK hip hop, no, not UK, hip hop international,
Yeah.
it's like kind of saying, I'm trying to think of a good example, but it's like if you're going to determine, I'm going to butcher this, but like you're going to determine the best painter, let's say.
Yeah, go on.
So you need, it's like, right, you have to display like 3 or 4 different techniques within painting so that you have, we show, like one of the criteria might be that you have range as a painter. So, which is, I agree or disagree in the way of judging.
Yeah.
It's like, that might be their reasoning, is like, we want to see that you can not just, you're not just strong at one thing. We want to encourage you to delve into other stuff.
Interesting.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because it doesn't actually encourage anything but just getting the style on the stage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and we went through this. Imagine if Tally just left and didn't say anything.
I thought about that being funny. Is that a charger for this?
Yeah, so I think it's like, well, we did it like with when we were doing HHI stuff. It's like we did other styles that it's like, okay, even for that we had more knowledge than most of the people. Do you know what I mean? It's like we did lock-in, but it's like you were training with Flexi Stu prior to that in order to get some like lock-in knowledge. And so coming from freestyle backgrounds, we kind of had a little bit more care of like, okay, we can't just throw a lock-in routine on stage, but that is what a lot of the groups do.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, hit me.
Just because, like, we all learn those styles, and if you do it in the wrong way, it's gonna show. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but you're talking about. Sorry, I know we've had this debate, so I already know where you're going. But I'll let you. I'll let you.
I mean, I don't know. Like when you look at like all the like Japanese people, Canadians, like they all like on point and their locking and popping is great. So I feel like it just depends who you learn from.
Is it Apple?
Yeah. Oh, USB-C. I do have a charger. Yeah, in my bag. I ain't cutting this out.
No, it's fine.
You're with us live and direct, people at home. Feel what it's like to be in the room. Feel the ambience. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, like it's just like it depends on who you learn from, and like if you don't do it in the correct way, then it's not gonna show. Like you're not gonna place right, basically.
Yeah.
But also the thing with HHI is that it's not only based on your skills. Like basically out of 10, it's 5 points for performance and 5 for skills. And there's judges only for performance and judges only for skills.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could like earn a shit point of
Yeah,
like,
we can swear, it's fine.
Sorry, yeah. Like a shit point of like performance, but like have like bad points in skills, and performance will take over. So that's why it's a bit messed up.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. It's like you say, okay, so say you do pop in, let's say, and you don't know the style and you don't practice it or learn it properly. You just kind of throw anything on stage. You're saying, well, that's fine because you won't progress through you won't do well in the competition, right?
Yeah.
Which is true, but let's say the top, like how many people entered HHI Worlds? Like how many crews were there in total?
In total, I don't know.
Like over 100?
There was like definitely 30 countries. So.
Okay, 30 countries. So let's say like maybe 100, maybe 200 crews. Yeah. Out of that, the people that place well is what, like top 10 in each category. So that's like 30 crews. So the majority of people are doing that, like badly. Do you know what I mean? Like if you don't look about the success and the failure, if you look at everyone that's entered and everyone that's been asked to fit this format, there's, let's say, maximum 30 crews that learns those styles correctly because they've progressed, let's assume. Like that's why they've progressed, because they've learned the styles. And out after those 30 that have done it properly, there's 200 that haven't done it properly. So you're encouraging the majority to not.
Yeah, but they're going to go nowhere.
Yes, in the competition, but as a not a culture, but like as a the message it sends, if you're entering HHI year after year after year, you might not go anywhere, but you're not learning the styles. No,
Wait, are you arguing for their idea that you should do more styles?
No, I'm arguing against.
And you're arguing for it?
Yeah,
she's saying it's
if I
not
didn't
a
do
problem.
HHI, I would have never learned locking. Like,
yeah, and I think
know.
this is kind of, I do see the other side to my thing, because I've heard this about various different issues where it's like, if at the end of the day more people are exposed to different things, isn't that a positive, like a net positive at the end, even though it's the first step is not necessarily the deepest, but those people who do care delve more in and then become lockers or become hip hop. Or what's your?
I'm just lost. Sorry, so you're saying it's a net positive to see more styles?
I'm saying that's the opposite to, like, I do see that side of it.
Okay, but you're saying, are you saying that it's a good thing that they demand you do multiple styles in the crews?
I think so, because it brings just like diversity, and also like we know that when you get there, like everyone is doing like locking, for like every group is doing locking, like that's like the main style there, literally.
That's mad.
Yeah, that is crazy, right? And I find it super cool. Like it's just cool because it pushes you to like compete against others that are like so good that I would not compare myself to someone that doesn't know how to lock properly. Like I would compare myself to like the Canadians or the Japanese, because they're insane.
So even if you're saying, like, even if the people that aren't doing the styles well, they are also seeing good people in there. So they're going in going, I'm trying to do this thing.
Yeah.
And there's an example of someone that does it well. So if ever they're going to be inspired to care about a style, it's like, that's better than just seeing it from a distance and being like, oh, that's cool over there.
Yeah, and also, like I said, I feel like if you don't do it correctly and you come back every year and you still don't do it correctly, you're just not going to progress in the competition. It's not going to bring you anything. You're just going to lose money from going there every year. So...
Yeah. And how long are the sets? They're 2 minutes?
Adults 2 minutes, mega crew 4 minutes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, 2 minutes freestyles.
I guess put it in our context. would it benefit battlers if every time you wanted to enter a battle, you had to enter 3 of the, like you couldn't just enter a style, you had to enter all of the styles? Would that end up benefiting the scene? I actually think it might.
Yeah, maybe, but I think like my only gripe with it is that it's a necessity. Like, I think you can get the same or better results without forcing people to do multiple styles, right? So I think you should have the option to do as many fucking styles as you want, right?
You can do more.
Yeah, of course, right? And
but is it like you would say you can get points for, if you do multiple styles, you're getting points for variety or range?
I don't personally, like, it's not, range isn't something that I value across like being able to do more things.
Okay.
It's about, for me, it's about how well you do the thing that you are doing. So range within a style, for me, it may be, but for me, it's more about the quality of movement, like things that we all value, like composition, spatial arrangement, or whatever, like those types of things. Like how, like you being able to move, like to do locking poorly and popping poorly and house poorly and then breaking well. For me, is I'm like, all right, yeah, I can do locking poorly and house poorly and breaking. You're like, it's like it doesn't. It's not, for me. It's not something that I think is a way to do it. The best way for me, I think that you can promote people to do other styles well, is to have workshops across the whole event. Like just to have people that do the styles well and then promote those things, and then have the people that, I don't know, that learn this, that do the sets well, that the expert breakers from Thailand or whatever, talk it up as well. Be like, yeah, man, I learned from that guy, blah, blah, or whatever, or yeah, I think that's a great class, or whatever, or yeah, or whatever. Or you see him at the class and you think, oh man, fuck, they're fucking well good at locking. I want to go to that class by P-Lock or whoever. Like, I just think, like, rather than having people just fucking have a go at it and be like, well, we'll practice all year on our own. We'll do fucking locking terribly, and then we'll go to an event and we'll see someone do it well and be like, yeah, they do it really well. Fuck. Like, you know, it's I don't know.
It's kind of limiting.
Yeah.
And I guess, so my thing as well to agree with you is that if we take the example of like a battler, like every time you battled, you had to enter every style in the competition. You couldn't just do one style, right? Versus that, which is kind of the same thing, but in different contexts. The only difference is I believe that being able to do a style, in air quotes, is about being able to freestyle it. It's not about being able to do it. And we've also debated this one, but I don't think it's like being able to, there's like, and you can also weigh in, but like, I think there's commercial dancers that could kill a popping routine and look as good as or maybe popping's a bit different because you have to train their hit. Let's say locking. I know commercial dancers that if they were taught by a good locker, could smoke a locking routine. It's like you don't, and I've said this before and people disagree with me, but it's like the technique can be taught move by move. So if you say this routine has to look like this and this move, do it more like this, do it more like this. But I think a large percentage of what makes up a style is how you choose to structure and put the stuff in together. Because it's like, if I go and just, and this, we see this with a lot of people, but if I go and just link vocabulary together, I don't really have a knowledge of the style. If I do hip hop and I go Running Man, and then I do this one, and then I do this one for 4 counts each, can I do the style, or can I just link a bunch of moves together?
And do you disagree with that?
Wait, I want to say something, I forgot. Wait, so what did you say again?
I said like a large percentage and more than the majority of being able to, in air quotes, do a style. When you're proficient in a style, it's about the choices that you make as a freestyler, as opposed to like just being able to execute the moves in a routine format.
But there's a difference with a group that is gonna just do a locking routine to do a locking routine, and someone that is actually gonna like put like soul dance in it and like,
sure,
I don't know, like when you get the essence of it, that's when you're gonna do well. Because if you do locking, just do like the moves and like that's it. But like,
so you don't think freestyle is the like components being able to do the style?
No, I value both basically. I feel like there's just this thing of like choreography is undervalued for some reason. I don't understand.
But I think the reason choreography is undervalued in that context with the style, because it's not about like a choreography competition like maybe World of Dance or something, is not quite the same.
The same thing.
No, but it's not, because they don't have a requirement for styles. So they just do choreography, and choreography is something that is like, okay, that's its own thing. Like if I look at Tally's like Orion's belt routine, it's like I can look at the artistic integrity and the way she's choreographed them, and that's its own thing. But if Tally did a locking routine, I'm like, okay, this is a freestyle style, and the way that it's made is as a freestyler. So if I learned a locking routine from Tally, I'm not making any choices. I'm just doing what I'm told. And if she's a good teacher and teaches me locking well, or whoever is the locking teacher, it could be fucking Don Campbell lock. But if he teaches me the style and he teaches all the technique, I can repeat that routine 50 times in the exact same way, and it can be
Sorry, so just to interrupt, sorry.
Yeah.
Then how does
Lee's like,
Wait a minute.
how does your argument work in context of a choreography competition? Like if we're judging people on their street dance technique and they're doing it choreographically,
Yeah.
like how are we judging them if they on their street dance ability if they're
don't
not
think-
freestyling it?
yeah, that's my point.
So you're saying
don't
are
think
you saying that you cannot effectively judge someone's ability to do the style in a choreography competition?
Almost, yeah. I think you can judge the like I think to a certain extent, to a lesser degree. Like if we watch Sofia do a locking routine as like with 10 of them, or you watch Sofia do a locking battle or a locking freestyle, which one can you judge
that a
more
hot take?
effectively?
Hot take.
I just disagree, man. Like, I feel like you're looking at it from one aspect, or maybe even holistically, without being able to look at different components of it, right?
Okay, go on.
So, like, if you're saying that, like, I agree with you in the sense that I feel like the most effective way to see if someone can do something, or the most holistic way to see if someone can do something, is if they freestyle it, right?
Okay.
Because if we're looking at dance like a language, yeah, you've got like maybe three components,
Great
right?
example.
Of like vocabulary,
Yeah.
right, which is your words, right? And then you've got grammar, which is your
How you structure it,
composition,
yeah.
yeah. And then you've got your posture, which is your accent,
Right.
So then you put all those three together and you can speak the language.
And I guess accent would be style, like how you
No, posture.
No, as in dance. So like your accent. Oh, posture as in you mean. Oh, okay, right. Physical
Yeah.
posture.
You need to look the part, right? You need to
Got it.
sound the part, right? So you can use those three things to speak something rehearsed or have a conversation.
Right.
And I think if you can speak something rehearsed, like if you're doing a debate or you're doing a spoken word or something like this, I think you can judge someone's ability to speak a language.
Sure.
If you were to do a spoken word piece in French, I'd say, yeah, speaks good French.
It's like when we're in school and you like they tell you like well, what did you do for your holidays? And you just repeat the thing that you've practiced at home. Me and my brother went to Spain for my holidays.
Yeah.
For my holidays, I had a sandwich. Like it's just.
But then I would say in the context of
You're
a
missing your
conversation,
posture.
yeah, or I'd say in the context of a conversation, you can't speak that language. But in the context of performance, you could speak the language. So I don't think it's fair to say that you can't do a style unless you can only freestyle it.
Okay, then maybe if that's what I said, that's not what I mean. Because I agree with everything you're saying. I just think it's a more effective way to judge with the freestyle.
That someone's street dance ability.
Yeah. So it's the same as like if I'm judging, like you said, I think I agree with what you said. Like you can judge them in a routine in the same way that you can judge someone doing a spoken word in French. But it's like, what's a more effective way to judge? How well can you speak French? Okay, just talk to me. Just say anything and ask them questions and get them, well, what about this? And if you can really structure your thing and talk about different things, and then you're like, okay, no, you can really speak French.
Yeah, well, then I would say you're distinguishing between your those three components, right? Like your technical ability in the language and fluency.
Right. Yeah. But how would you weight those two? Because I think what I'm trying to say, and I don't know if I'm coming across right, is that the ability to repeat a pre-rehearsed paragraph in another language is not as important. It's like this to me, and being able to be fluent and conversational in it is like this to me. So if we're going to judge it properly, it's like, this is what I would weight higher than this.
For me, it's contextual. So like in life, for me, the fluency of being able to have a conversation is way more important.
Okay.
But I don't want to for example, if you're singing a song or you're doing spoken word, I don't want my mum to do that because she doesn't have good delivery in that, sense, right? So in that context, I don't want her to do that, but she speaks English brilliantly, right?
That makes sense. Okay.
So it's like, for me, it's just contextual. So it's like in that context of choreographically, I want someone who can bang choreo, who can look the part, and who can execute the moves brilliantly. Like I don't care if they can freestyle it because that's not what the context requires. In a battle, I don't care if you can do routines with your partner if you're on your own. And you can only do set pieces. I want to know how you interpret the music. I want to know how you respond to the person. I want to know how you perform to the room.
Okay. And
how you hold the space in a battle context. So for me, it's all contextual.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think. But then, would you say that they're equal contexts in the? Because I think what I'm saying is that with the battle styles like locking pop, like choreography is that arena. So also, kind of, I don't care if you can freestyle as a choreographer. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, but the whole point is that I'm here for a choreography workshop, so don't just freestyle your solo at the end. Like, do the choreo. Whereas in that sense, I think maybe what I'm waiting also like this, now that you've said that, is that the context I'm waiting like that. I think the context is more important, external of the competitions. I think.
Oh, okay.
Just if you're saying I'm a locker, and I'm like, okay, well, where do you do locking? Oh, in HHI. Then I'm like, eh. And then if you're like, I'm a locker, where are you a locker? Oh, I freestyle it and I battle and I'm quite successful. Oh, okay. Because you're able to do it this. And I think that context is like, yeah, cool. But the way the style is evolved and where it come from and the whole structure of the style, it more is a freestyle style. Whereas like tally type of choreography is more of a set movement kind of thing.
So are you asking me which context I prefer?
Is there one that you think is more important, or do you think they're kind of equal? And it's just like, well, if you can do that, cool. If you can do that, cool. Or is there one that's more like if you're external to the competition context?
Yeah. Oh, then again, it depends on what goals you want. So if it's like to perpetuate the behaviors in the culture, it's inarguable that battle culture and freestyle culture is the most important.
Okay,
it's inarguable. Right. But if you're talking about promoting it to a wider audience, to increase funding, to enjoy it in different contexts, to make it more palatable to different audiences, then choreographically, that might be more important.
Yeah, because that's way more.
Not everyone understands the idea of how to judge something objectively in context of a battle, right? Because you can like when you like we've talked about this before loads, that when you open up the Olympics, and I was in Blackpool the other day, open up, I see rowing, I'm like, all right, whoever gets to the end first wins.
Yeah,
I completely understand it. You slap on breaking and you're like, all right, so what's going on? Like what's happening? But in a choreography competition, you pretty much know like, oh, that person fucked up, that person fell over. Okay, well they didn't fall over, they're probably better.
Yeah, everyone's doing everything at the same time, and it looks good. That probably means
it's a more palatable way of consuming dance for people that don't that aren't familiar with it.
So I think this is kind of in line with what Sofia was saying. So you would maybe agree with that, where it's a good. Let's say these type of things are a good entry point. Like they're great for gaining more people, more like
fantastic,
giving more access to the general public. And then let's say out of 1,000 people at HHI, if 10 of them become high level lockers, then it's like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's
because you take them lockers, they'll go out and they'll go do their battle thing. And then what they might do is they might then go and choreograph a set of like 10 people each. And then that's another 1,000 people, 100 people, however that maths is, that they're getting involved in again, and they're going to go and spread and whatever. And it constantly grows like that. So it's inarguable that the battle scene, the freestyle circuit of all street dance styles is where the scene grows. And it's where it all grows out from there. Like, of course it's the best, but we know that it's esoteric, right? Which means that it's kind of, if you don't know about it, you won't know about it.
Yeah, it's very inaccessible to the general.
Exactly, right? So, but then you need stuff that's palatable as well, because we always complain about the lack of money or funding or opportunities, right? But then these places, they provide that. Because look how many people were there in the audience.
A bunch.
I don't know, like many thousands, I guess.
Right? There's like maybe 3 upstyles events that have that in the year, right? That are of audiences that aren't dancers, right? For battle events. But you get that all the time, man. Like HHI, UDO, BDO, whatever. There's just hundreds, thousands of people at all these world final events where people just go and watch it. They're on TV shows, whatever, networks, all this stuff. And it's like, it's just accessible.
Yeah. And I think Sophia's so happy because this is like, like when we were debating before, it's like she didn't have you to do that. I think what's also an important point is like the more, especially these things are huge, right? So like, Got to Dance, fucking America's Got Talent or whatever the shit. It's all huge, right? HHI is huge. If we as a small underground scene reject these things and say we're having nothing to do with them, and I think this is maybe a good segue to UDO, but like if we reject them and say we're having nothing to do with them, they're going to go and carry on anyway because the money's there and whatever, you know. And this massive access point is going to be like underutilized. Whereas if we say, all right, like, hey, listen, can we have a conversation? Can we, like, you know, if there are things that we disagree, and we were talking about, because Sofia was saying to me, well, if they're so like, because my opinion was like, I didn't really love HHI. But like, if they're so like, people don't like them or whatever, how come Don Campbellock's there every year? How come Buddhist Stretch is there? How come these people are there?
Demones.
Thank you. That was my first reply. But,
okay. Yeah.
But I think also, that's another thing is like if they go there and care, at least there's some people who are actually from the culture being involved in it, and maybe there's a bit more. However, I do think it's more the money, but maybe that's more of it. And I think that we've seen that happen with UDO where a lot of people have blasted UDO over the years, but then there are a certain like bunch of people who I think are still there now who were like, no, we're going to go in and have conversations and like you judge for UDO, and it's like anything that we disagree with, we're going to have conversations. We're going to try and put good people in these judges' seats and in the structure of the organization so that we feel like it is represented, and then we can all work together. You want to have this big organization and also make money and do all these things. We want something big to draw people into our culture. Let's work like we wouldn't fucking have, and I've been critical of HHI and UDO before, so you know, not to say that there's nothing to criticize of them, but is that we wouldn't have people like Harry, Dirty Harry, for people that don't know, attributes the majority of his involvement in the scene and success to UDO. Yeah. He's like, I wouldn't be me and I wouldn't be here. Obviously, he's trained with a lot of great people. He's in Monsters. He's had good mentors and stuff since joining the adult scene. But he will say to you, and he will say it publicly, that he's like, I wouldn't be here without UDO. Like, I owe a lot of my dance career and my life to UDO. So, and that's someone who's like an integral part of the pop-in scene, you know? It's like the scene wouldn't be, and not to like put it all on Harry, there are other people, but like, the scene wouldn't be the scene without Harry. He's contributed loads, you know what I mean? And he's raised the level in certain places. He's added stuff that fucking Cobra fucking thing, everyone does it. It's like, he's added stuff, and it's like all of that came because UDO was there, and because for however it happened, UDO guided him in the right way to have him find the battle scene and get in. And of course, that's not going to be the majority. But if those signposts are in the right place, we do end up with a richer underground scene than before.
Yeah.
I can't remember whose point I was responding to, but I just went on a little tirade about Harry. Hello, mate. You got a roll?
Soon, yeah. Well, yeah.
Was that the tap?
No, it was just, hey, look at the time. And then do with it what you will.
Yeah, I mean, you can also like roll when you need to roll, and we'll continue.
In that case, sorry for interrupting. Continue.
No, that's all right, mate. Were you going to cuss me out about something? You had that Sophia look.
I was, but
yeah, no, it's fine. I don't remember what you said. Like you said something about. I don't remember. It's fine.
It's all right. If it comes back to you, cuss me later. So on that note, Mr. Head Judge of UDO Worlds, how was it in general?
Jeez.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Because you were like beaming afterwards. You're like, I actually had a great time. It was sick.
Yeah, it was amazing. I fucking loved it.
What is that in comparison to other UDOs?
I am gonna go. Sorry.
Well, let's say goodbye quickly.
And we're back. Tally had to leave. And you guys don't know what just happened, because for you, that was a seamless cut. Tally left. There was no drama. She just left, and then we just sat down and carried on recording the pod. You don't know the stress that we just went through. Mm-hmm. We had a bit of technical difficulties, and we almost lost the entire first half of the pod, to be honest with you. And then this guy right here saved the day, because there's no calm days when you work with technology. So Tally had to leave. We almost lost the whole first half of the podcast, first 3/4 of the podcast, and Lee fixed it, and Tally left, and that's basically an update of what happened in that clap that just happened there. Fucking hell, my blood pressure is through the roof. So how was UDO? So you had a good time at UDO was the point that we were trying to make before this all happened.
Yeah.
God, the edit on this is going to be gone.
No, it was sick. It was amazing.
What? So you said you had a great time.
Yeah.
Is that in relation to other UDOs that you've judged? Is it like, oh, this one was just way better because it's Worlds, or was it, what made it so good? What made you have such a good time?
I think it was a lot of things. So like, I mean, I've done, that's my third Worlds for UDO, okay. Third or fourth.
Where was Worlds, by the way?
Blackpool.
Okay.
No, fourth one, yeah. So I've done 2 in Blackpool now and 2 in Scotland. So that was my fourth one for UDO. I don't know what event I'm on now. And I had to stop working them for a little while during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. There was some personal reasons, some
professional
reasons why I couldn't as well.
Yeah.
And I came back this year. I did an event up in Stoke, and then that was cool. And then this is the second one I've done this year, and it just was amazing. So it was their 20th anniversary. It was their first live event back since before the pandemic.
Nice.
And it was just fantastic, man. Like, I mean, I think because of the position I'm in there as well, so I'm one of the head judges of the event. So I kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I have obviously some responsibilities, and I'm required to kind of look after a few things and whatever. But it also means that I've been there for a little while. I'm very comfortable with the people that run the event, that from top down, and that are participating in the event, like judges or whatever. And then I'm familiar with obviously a lot of the dancers that go there as well, right? Yeah. So I feel very comfortable when I'm there. Like, they like me because I fucking work my ass off. I like them because, like, it's easy to work with them all, and it's just a cool event, innit? And then obviously I know that the guys throughout the event give a shit about what we were talking about before, about contributing to the street dance scene, right? Whether they do it in a way that I would do it is a different thing, but I'm not the one with a fucking multi-million-pound company, right? Like,
sure.
So, like,
and everybody, I guess, like I always say this about the pod, but it's like everyone contributes in their own way. So if you're contributing, you're contributing,
right? And it's like, it's not going to be perfect, but like, no one company is going to be the mecca of contribution for the street dance scene, right? Or a culture, right? So you're going to have different things. They're going to do it in their own way. HHI, Red Bull, Adidas, Nike, whoever else, they're all Olympics. They're all going to contribute in their own way. And I love the way that UDO do it at the moment. Like, it's very good. And so there was it was a 4-day event from Thursday to Sunday. And on the Saturday, I was, this was kind of like a peak moment of the event for me, was I'd already judged a couple days, or 3 days or whatever. Then on the Saturday, we're required to do our judge demos. So we go in the main hall.
I saw you shaking your ass to some UK garage, looking like flames.
So, like, and it's cool, right? Because you basically have a whole day there, and they've got, like, I think they've got 4 big rooms that they do everything in, and they've got a couple of rooms where they do, like, workshops in throughout the whole weekend. And so we go in the main room, and they do this whole opening ceremony of, like, here's everyone, blah blah, and whatever, blah blah, and then they do the judge demos. I think that was on the same day, maybe not, but they do the judge demos, and so we all do our demos. And it was amazing. Like, and it was, I'll tell you what was really cool, I don't know, was being on stage. We do the whole demos, and then the whole arena, I mean, there's a few thousand people in there, and you've got a couple of the hosts there that are fucking sick, like Dwayne or whatever. And they light up the room, everything's going up, everyone's waving their flags for their country, and all the judges are, like, just buzzing around stage, just jump into the music, whatever DJs are playing. And there was a moment where I just kind of just stopped. I just stood in the middle of the stage while all this madness was happening around, and I was like, fuck, like, for the last, like, 2 years, we've all just been fucking stuck in our homes, like, trying to fucking live life and trying to get ways around it and be on this new normal, whatever, watching the world fall apart. And I was like, there's just thousands of people in this room right now buzzing because they all enjoy the same thing.
Yeah, I think you kind of felt that with HHI, right?
Yeah.
Like
same thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it, like, and you just, like, there's nothing like being, I mean, you get it when you go to concerts, like festivals, whatever. There's nothing like being in a room with just thousands of people, and you're all there feeling each other's energy, and it's like, you just feel like you get goosebumps, you feel buzzing, you're like, and it's just like you have this, like, euphoric moment of, like, fuck, this is cool, man.
Yeah, man. And I think there's, like, I don't know, especially because a lot of the scene, in terms of percentage of how much we experience, a lot of it is on social media, because it's like 80% of the time we're at home, so or doing work or whatever, so we're experiencing people's videos, like all that shit through our phones. And just because of the way social media is, and I guess the way people are, there's a lot of negative shit and arguments and this and that. Yeah. But, like, I wrote about this on my Insta story a while back, but I was at Kieran's Jam Festival for the whole week. Yeah. And I was like, I feel like when I'm away from the scene and on social media more than I am in real life, just for an extended period, or I'm busy or whatever, I start feeling really negative about everything. Like, I start feeling, and I'm like, just like, the scene's not great, and then there's this, and then there's this, and there's this issue, and then this person doesn't like me, I don't like this person. I'm just thinking about all that stuff. And when I'm in the scene and I'm out and about and I'm going to events, and I'm doing, even if I'm working or I'm battling or whatever, I get this, like, fucking, like, exactly as you said, this almost a euphoric feeling of, like, fuck, I love this scene, man. Yeah. Like, you're just, like, around everyone, and all the people you're around are sick, and, like, you're going to, like, I don't know, like, breaking battles, and you're watching them, and then you're seeing people that you haven't seen in ages, and you're like, oh, I knew this guy. Like, if you think about it, you're like, I know this person for, like, fucking 15 years, and then you're like, oh, I just met this person last week, but they're really cool. And it's like, you experience all the best shit in real life.
Yeah.
And you very, like, yes, there's a lot to be said for social media, like giving you access when you otherwise couldn't. And there's a lot of good points, but you don't often experience the best shit through social media. You experience it in real life. Like the culture, the feeling of it, just like having a bunch of people in the same room that like the same shit that you do.
It's amazing, man. And like, and so in the venue in Blackpool, we have these parties every night as well. And it's real cool. So it's like, I mean, you've got like all the competitors and the families and whatever and the staff there as well. And it's like, you got all the kids there ciphering and they put this old music for us old timers. We're all jamming, doing the bloody electric slide or whatever it is. And it's like, I don't know, you have the whole weekend where it's like, you just go around and you get to interact with people at a total workshop on the Sunday, which was kind of cool. And it's like, just have like a bunch of people turn up to your workshop that you just wouldn't assume. Like I was teaching pop in intermediate.
Yeah.
There was maybe like one kid there who I recognized as a popper. The rest were just this dance schools that just wanted to come and learn popping. And I was like,
do they pay extra for the workshops or is input included?
I think it's included. I think they only pay extra if you set one up. So like Harry had, I think Harry taught 3 workshops, maybe 2 or 3, but one of them was like an extra one where
he said, I want to just put it on.
Yeah, and you pay, and then like Marlon Swish had one as well, and then Biber. Yeah. He had a few people like that. Okay. But yeah, mine was part of my contract to go and teach that, which is like, so like, that's like what we're talking about HHI in terms of promoting it. The reason I brought that up was because part of the event or weekend is they have all day, every day. They have workshops that in each room, the hosts are required to promote. So people go and they take these workshops part of the event. So it's like, there's always something happening where you're learning something from a specialist or you're engaging with a specialist. And it's like, and on top of that, the dancers were crazy. It was amazing. Like,
sick.
They obviously have different categories, obviously, and everyone was like, each category is pretty fucking cool. I didn't get to see any of the duos or solos. I only judged teams the whole weekend.
Right.
And then one of the ones I judged was called Ultimate Advance. So it's where the crews, they win 10 grand if they win.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty cool.
Guys, why do we not enter UDO?
I was like, yo, Turbulence would slap.
Would it?
Yeah.
Would it actually mark well?
It would mark. There's only it's only one category that it would mark poorly in.
What's that?
Stagecraft, because they wouldn't, which it takes into account things like how well you put your music together, your costumes, and how well you use your stage. So even though your intention
was
for
to not use
the stage and to bring the focus in, unless you have a judge that's aware of that or can pick up on that, they would mark it down because you didn't move.
Yeah, because I guess that's maybe going back to the judging thing, is like, which I guess is a bit more in like structured styles is a bit different. But you know, when you choose to break the rules in order to make a point, which artists do a lot, is there a way to judge that fairly? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the point of that is if you choose to break the rules to prove a point,
you've broken the rules.
But then you're not going to get rewarded by the rules that were set in place.
Exactly. Right.
So it's like, that's the one thing where it would score poorly on.
That's why it's like, that would, Sorry.
But yeah, it would. I think it would slap. But it's like, but then there were 2 teams that were ranked first and second. So there were I can't remember their name. It was a Thailand group, so similar to Ving, but it was a locking group, and I think it was like Stop and Lock or something like this. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a locking group from Thailand. They won, and then the group that came second was IMD.
Okay.
And what was
Thailand are sweeping up.
Thailand is sick.
I tell you what, man. So I judged them for the quarterfinals. So the way it worked was there was quarter, semis, and finals, and each crew could choose whether to do both the quarters and the semis, or just do the semis. So the way it worked is that you dance on the Friday, and out of all the crews, let's say there's 12, they pick a top 3. Those top 3 fast track to the Sunday, right? Okay. And then the rest get the opportunity to dance again on the Saturday to qualify again. But you don't have to do the Friday. What you can do is just skip the Friday, go straight to the Saturday and try and qualify there. And IMD did that, which I thought tactically was a good move because of the way that they do their sets. If you haven't seen them, it's just 100% energy for 2 minutes. And if they hadn't got through on the Friday, trying to dance for the Saturday and the Sunday with their set would have been a nightmare. Like you would have had people pass out for sure.
Interesting.
But there was a locking group that did it on the Friday. And when I judged them on the Friday, We had 6 criteria, so street arts technique, execution, creativity, performance, stagecraft, and judges' opinion. It was very difficult not to give them 10s across the board.
Who's this?
This Thailand group.
Oh, wow.
They were unbelievable. Like, I'm talking immaculate.
Sick.
Like how everything 10s across the board. It was very hard to mark them down.
You're like looking for faults. Like, well, that guy's. I mean, his beard is not.
I was being like hypercritical, but like partly because they were so good, but also partly because there was 10 grand on the line.
Yeah.
So I was being like, all right, cool. So everyone that's participated, obviously everyone I judge harshly anyway, but everyone that's involved in this, you're getting it from me. Like you have, like, I want the people that walk away with 10 grand to be like, there's no,
you fucking earned it.
Yeah. There's no ambiguity of why. Like,
right.
They absolutely earned it. Yeah, it was quite. Yeah, it was interesting how the other teams scored on the final day, because it was a different set of judges for each 3 days,
Nice.
Which is a good way of doing fairness. Actually, saying that, that's like maybe some of this we could learn from for the battle scene, because it's like, imagine if you had a battle where, like, because sometimes we see it as a weird thing if like the person that judges the prelim isn't the person that judges the battles.
Yeah.
But maybe that's better. Almost, what if it was that every round was a different judge? Like quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, the judges rotated.
Well, the only thing I think the only problem I see with that, which I think you should account for by having the other judges that different rounds present, is repetition of moves.
Ah, okay.
Right, so like you need to be an academic in that sense, right? So we're talking about with Kev Renegade last night at his place that, for example, if you're judging battles or choreo, for example, because there was a lot of crews that looked like that took from Paris Goebel.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
yeah.
A lot. And obviously she took from certain aspects as well, right? But there was a lot that looked like her.
Yeah.
And if you're not privy to that stuff, then you're not going to be able to mark things like creativity well.
Yeah, because you think something's creative when it's actually just stolen.
Right? So, but yeah, in the terms of the battle scene, like having a different judge, I think it'd be good, because if you've got the same system, the idea isn't that you want everyone to make the same decisions. The idea is that you want them to be clear about why they've made the decisions, so there's transparency for the dancers, which is the most important thing, and that we're all talking from the same perspective. Because like if you say, yeah, man, but I like the way that they dress, and I'm like, that's got fuck all to do with how they're dancing, and I'm like, but
unless
I like
there's a costume.
yeah,
Category,
right,
in
of
which
course.
case, then you'd also be looking at how they dressed.
Stagecraft.
Yeah,
right. So it's like, but yeah, I actually think it's a good thing, because
So maybe even like one judge that's consistent all the way through the battle, like a head judge.
Yeah.
And then the 2 other judges rotate per round or something.
that would be cool.
So then if you imagine you win by 3 votes, like all 3 votes, you get through prelims, then quarters, semis, and finals, you get 3 votes every time, but the 2 judges are different every time. It's like you really have one, like, because there's not necessarily like a bias or but then it's like you also have to hire like 7 judges, but
yeah, which UDO do though, because we basically have a panel of 5 judges, and we have 2 on rotation. So we have like that. So there's always like we can do breaks for different categories, so we can just keep doing that.
I also like the idea what Sophia said about that they have different judges based on different criteria.
Yeah.
So like they have, like if they have performance and skill, you have judges that your job is don't look at anything else but just judge the performance on every group.
That's Dizzy's method, isn't it? The Owls.
I don't know.
Owls judging method.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was Kev was telling me. Like, so it's like
That's
in
interesting.
break-ins they have that way. Someone judges on one aspect, one criteria, another person on this. So yeah, same thing. So like you've got like your sole job is to look for composition or performativity or dynamics. Or
It
something
feels
like
like it makes more sense because then there's less to consider and you can focus on one thing.
I think it's a cool thing to do. Like I think like. Yeah, I feel like
I think I'd be way happier with that, like as a dancer. Because if I you know, let's say I lose a battle and then I go to you and I'm like, well, why did I lose? And you're like, well, my job was to judge composition. Compositionally, I gave you like an 8 or 9, so it's not that. And then I go to the next one, it's like, oh, well, you know, your whatever the thing might be, your technique and thing. And I know because I'm a specialist hired only to look at technique, and your popping technique is a bit trash. Even though because I think, sorry to...
yeah.
Like, I think sometimes, let's say in battles, and I think I use this to my advantage where my structure, my presentation, name of my workshop if you want to come, those type of things are way stronger than like the depth of my vocabulary, the depth of my technique.
Yeah.
And I get away with a lot because I present what I can do very well. Yeah. Right? And it might even be more fair is if you separated that so that I couldn't override that. And then the technique judge goes, yeah, well, great on that. And the technique, the structure and the presentation judges give you 10s. but I'm only here to look at your technique. And no matter how well it was executed, you use one walkout the entire time and nothing else. You know what I mean? And your hits are messy and whatever. And it's like, nah, damn, fair, you got me. You know?
Yeah, and I think the kind of the most obvious deficiency with that is that you're limited to the amount of set of values that you can judge based on the judges that you've got available. Right? So if you can only afford 5 judges, then you've only got those judges judging on 5 things. Whereas like if you look at like the threefold or trivium system, there's like a set of 15 values. And
So
like,
you're not going to be able to cut unless rather than everyone judging on 15 values, would it not make sense to like let's say each judge judges on 3? That's still better than 15. No?
Yeah, I don't know actually.
Like double or triple up?
Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it. I mean, it's interesting. I assume naturally it would cut out a lot of noise and confusion, certain things, and that because but I guess
if you say someone like you, where like let's say for UDO you judged across all the categories, so you are competent to be able to judge across all these categories. But if I said to you, don't worry about, you can do any of them, but for this one, I'm going to give you composition, stagecraft, and cleanliness, for example. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be you're a specialist, but all the judges are competent across all the things, which you would hope. And then we just assign you certain ones, and that might even rotate so that you're not judging composition the whole day. You're judging different things in different places so that there's a bit more mix up and fairness.
I actually taught a workshop. That's part of how I taught my workshop there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I basically, because I was teaching pop and intermediate, but I noticed that over the weekend, so I kind of like structured it based on what I saw kind of deficient over the weekend.
Okay, cool.
And one of the
Smart
things...
teacher.
Thanks. And one of the things that I set up the structure of the lesson beforehand, and then I just knew that I could pick the deficient ones and then just focus on that. So the structure of the workshop was to do a warm-up with technique, right, and just fix posture and movement or whatever. And then what I did was set up a little judging thing. So we have I split the dancers into groups of 3, and then I would have A, B, and C. So they all get go at battling each other. So then A and B would dance and C would judge, and then they rotate and they do this. So I got them to do a couple rounds of that, and then just get them to make their decisions. And then after a couple of rounds, just go around and ask a few people, who'd you pick and why? And they say that, blah, blah, and this, cool. And then I say, cool, all right, for the next one, you're only looking at composition. And then I explain to them what composition is, and then get them to explain it back to me so they know.
Based on the criteria that they were being judged on in the competition?
No, it's just based on the deficiency that I saw of them. So like a lot of them couldn't piece their rounds together properly.
Sorry, no, but I mean like when you say composition, like those things that you were saying, like look at composition or whatever, it might be that they're deficient at it, but you're thinking you're about to be judged on these 7. So out of these 7, what one are you weak at?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not talking. Yeah, I'm not talking about specifically for choreo, but for these dancers being able to structure their rounds, because a lot of them will do solos as well, right? Yeah. Solos, duos, whatever. So they'll come in with, a lot of them can't freestyle, so they'll come in with pre-choreographed stuff.
Yes.
But if they do freestyle, it's like they don't understand phrasing, they don't understand intention of movement or anything like this, or how to structure a round. So I say, okay, cool. So now you're going to judge on composition. So basically, does what the person's doing make any sense? So does one move follow on nicely from another? Are they going from this shape to this shape to this shape to this shape, or are they going from here to this to this, and just making kind of all these random movements that don't mean anything?
I think in theatre it's dramaturgy.
Dramaturgy
would be the name of that. It's like the narrative structure of the piece. So like a dramaturg is someone who would literally, like, their job is to come in and be like, all right, great dance piece or acting piece or whatever, but like, so let's say in dance it's like they come in and like, especially for like the longer 1 hour piece and stuff that really need structure, where, you know, a 5 minute piece doesn't really need it, but you come in and you say, right, great piece, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like this needs to be this, your intro doesn't fit with that, this doesn't link to that, can we rearrange this, can we make it extend that by a couple of minutes? In my experience, this is kind of what a dramaturg does. Right. But yeah, kind of similar. Yeah,
so it's pretty much that, and then I picked a couple more things, and then one of the things I noticed was, okay, cool. So like, it was like one of the things where I judged them on was vocabulary. Right. So cool. Like, can you fucking do anything? Yeah. And then they couldn't. So I was like, okay, cool. So now like, let's stop the whole judging thing and let's go back to the kind of the exercises we were doing before, and we'll build your vocabulary. Sick. So we'll build on the stuff we did before. Nice. And then so stuff like this. But yeah, that was fucking one of the things I judged on, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I like that. So it's fun. It was very, but yeah, overall it was very fun. Met a lot of dancers. Had a good time. It was just super fun.
Sick. Did you get drunk?
I had 3 ciders each night.
Did you?
For 2 nights.
That is an excessive amount of drinking for you these days.
Yeah.
3 ciders each night for 2 nights.
I had 6 ciders in total.
To be fair, did you feel it a bit?
I don't know, maybe. I tell you what, I felt relaxed.
Yeah, but you weren't like feeling like, oh, because it also depends on how much you've eaten and the day you've had.
Oh, I had a lot to eat as well. I made sure I lined up my stomach nicely.
Yeah, me and you do not be drinking that much, to be honest.
No.
Not these days.
No, I can't, no, and the thing is like...
Not after our past.
Not only am I around like children...
True.
So I don't want to...
Be wasted.
Right?
And then they're like, can you tell me why we lost today? This is the thing. The thing is...
blah, blah.
Mummy, what's wrong with that guy?
Stay away from us.
Yeah.
But then also I take my job very seriously.
Yeah.
So like I want to make sure that I can get up early and go to work and just be present, because it's like when you're walking around this whole environment, like
You're on.
You're on job from the moment you leave your hotel, because everyone in Blackpool is like around there, and like you walk from the venue to your hotel, you're seeing people that are like, oh, hey Ricochet, blah blah, like, blah blah, hey Judge, oh hi, give a high five, whatever. And so you're on from the second you leave your room, you're kind of on job, like on the idea of like, I'm going to be around, people are going to see me, and I'm wearing a t-shirt and the lanyard or whatever, so people are going to associate whatever I do with this place.
Yeah.
So I have to be, and I'm always like, all right, when I'm there, I'm alert, I'm happy, I'm like, fist bumping kids or whatever. And so it's like, it's always I didn't get wasted.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, I was gonna. Well, I mean, let's wrap on this. But like, I was gonna ask you, like, how do you feel? Because we went to, for context, we went to HHI in Vegas in 2009 and 10.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we're old people.
Old men.
So
now.
how old were you when that
happened?
9 years old.
Oh my god. And
wow, man.
yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of, like, we were taking it like a serious, like, we were fucking ciphering and meeting people and stuff.
It's amazing.
We saw Poppin' C there before he was like even big. He was just a kid. He was good still, but he was a kid.
Oh, he's very good, yeah.
He's great.
Because I think he's younger than us. Stop it. So we, I was going to say, like, how do you feel like because obviously we were talking about Harry, but how do you feel like your Poppin' journey was like influenced by going to these things? Do you think it was like, it gave you inspiration, it made you want to do it more? Because obviously you battled in 2010, 9, battled in 2009, not 10. You didn't do it in 10?
No.
Because when you battled the Poriotics guy.
Yeah.
When was that? 9.
9.
And then 10, when we went with Cash. You didn't battle?
I don't think I got through.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair.
No, I battled in 10 because I didn't get through when in 9, because me and Abe we tried and we didn't get through. And then in 10 I battled. No, I don't know. 9.
No, because you definitely battled the Poriotics, and that's
Poriotics.
when we met Monster Pop as well.
Yeah,
because he was there.
Man.
Anyway,
I battled at some point. Yeah, well.
So you did the battles. We met people like Poppin' C. We met Monster Pop there. There was like Boogaloo Sam was there. Pete was there one of the years. Yeah, stuff like that. But like, do you feel like it kind of did anything for you by being there as a freestyler?
Absolutely, man. Because like, I mean, I never went to class. Like it just wasn't for me in it. Like I just didn't like that structured stuff because of the environment that we learned breaking in and popping and hip hop, whatever in Watford. Like we would always have these freestyle open sessions. So it just, for me, it just wasn't the way forward to sit in a class and everyone to like, you have to move your arm like this.
Yeah.
Now I love it because it's like, it's a conditioning thing.
Like you didn't start in the class environment, you started in the breaking training environment, which was just open session.
Which I loved it. So anytime I would do, like, it's very discursive. So you go in different places and learn from different people. And I loved any environment that facilitated that. And places like HHI were sick because you have just, they just take over an entire resort. So there's always something going on. And it was the social aspect of it, right? So you go around and then there's parties throughout the entire night, most nights, and everyone's playing guitars or pianos, people getting drunk, people like dancing, just having a laugh, and you get to chill with people and learn things from people that you wouldn't normally see. So, and I always feel like this is why I love platforms like Twitch, and that you get to see people doing their practice or even just watching training videos of people. It's because when someone sets up a class, they'll set out very clearly what it is you're going to learn. You might have a couple of nice little gems from people asking questions or whatever, or something random happening, but mostly, like, this is what I'm going to learn in the class, and that's what they've asked me to learn, or that's what they set out for me to learn. But when you go into an environment where you've got people just floating around everywhere, and you have access to some of the experts in your scene, like we saw Boogaloo Sam outside just selling t-shirts, and you see b-boys everywhere and lockers everywhere, and it's like you could just have access to these people, like as from our age or our level in that, I can't imagine any other profession or many other professions where you get to do that. And when you go and have conversations with people who are experts, when they're talking about things and when they're comfortable with you, they'll just give you loads of information about your dance, about dance in general, about their experiences that are really helpful. And they don't even realize they're giving it to you. They'll give you these little, they're just talking. They're like, yeah, man, because I learned when I was with this guy and they told me this thing and it was really good. And you're like,
yeah.
That's great. and it's like, it's just super helpful. So for me, like being in environments like those competitions, and you feel a little bit special as well when you're a specialist and you do a little thing, like pop in or whatever, and you go and there's a bunch of choreo heads and you can jump in a cypher and you can feel really good or whatever. You feel fucking great, man. Like, so I love that shit, man.
Sick. So you would encourage, this is a question, would you encourage the young people that are coming into freestyle to try arenas like this?
Yeah, man. Like try anything. Like, try. Like for real, try anything like that, because like, I mean that was my first experience. Like the first competition I did was HHI.
Oh yeah, you did the UK one.
Yeah,
yeah,
so I did
true. 2006,
2007.
Are you sure? Because when I first met you and Merce,
it was 2006. You're right.
You were talking about it having happened, and then the first one I came to was when you beat Debo in the finals.
That was 2007, right?
And I think that was because that was the first time I had seen you dance in life, and then but you had already been when you and Mus battled.
Yeah. So I won the under 18s in 2006.
Yeah.
And then I went back a year later just because it was in Watford and I was from Watford.
Yeah.
So
this was around the corner.
Yeah, it was literally in my town. It was literally down the road from the college. So I went from college to I think that event or something. Maybe I can't remember what it was, but. Oh yeah, I won that in 2006. Then a year later, I won the adults in 2007, and I was like, okay, cool. But then like I met Debo that year. I met Mavericks. I met
Popsy and Diva J there. They were little fucking kids, and I was talking to their mum. Do you remember? And they were just like, "Hello."
They were the best. Bruno was there, and and it's like there was. Immediately I realized, there's a wider scene there and there's more people. And then obviously because we were with the breakers that we were in Watford, they took us out to events and we met more people there. But it was events like HHI, and then I joined a choreo group, which I think it was quite a thing at the time for UK heads to do. We've all kind of had experiences in choreo groups. Like I joined a group called Alter Ego, and then they took me to a bunch of these types of like HHI, UDO, BDO events or street dance championships or whatever it is. And I would always go there and do the solos, and I would always do well. And it was always something like that. I feel special. I'd meet people, and then their heads in the scene would recognize me. Then we did Toy Box, and we'd go and do other competitions. And again, I'd be the specialist there, and I would go and do stuff. And it was like, I don't know, for me, like I'm just talking from freestyler perspective, because battle for me was always the go-to. I loved it. But from that perspective, I would always encourage kids to do that. And if they can, learn choreo, because the ability, for me, dance has been the best tool that I've ever come across.
You can't be dying on commandos, guys. Come on.
Jesus.
You can't be forgetting a 1/8 of choreo and you forgot the first step. It's like, bro, take a couple of classes, please.
Jesus. And I really mean this. Like, dance has been the best tool that I've ever come across to help me understand my my own learning ability or my own learning rate and my own body. Like, I can pick up most things physical really quickly now, and I attribute that to dance. And like going to classes and having to have a 5-10 minute warm up, and having to do a bloody minute routine in half an hour in movements that you've never done before, and then having to perform that to everyone else, and then having to forget that for the next class, and you're like, whatever. And it's like, and doing that, and then or learning 8, 10, 15 minute, 20 minute, hour long sets where you're like, okay, performing in theatre shows, whatever. And that ability to retain that information and learn and pick apart movement was invaluable, man. And it's like, in battle context, it's invaluable. So I can watch anyone battle now, and I can immediately assess their dance and see where the deficiencies are and problem solve and how to fix that, and then act it out immediately. And there's so much, man. I think back in our day, the scene was a lot more integrated because it was a lot more small. So then it's like, if I want to dance 5 times in a month, I have to do a choreo set. I have to do this. Maybe there'll be one battle if I'm lucky. Like we had at one point when we started, it was like 3 battles a year, and one of those was UK champs, which none of us were getting through in 18. You know. Actually, no. Fuck you. You did. But do you know what I mean? It's like because the scene was smaller, there's less options, so you just kind of ended up doing stuff, and it turned out to be a good thing because we got all these different, which we just saw as dance. But now you're like, no, I'm a battler. Why would I ever go to fucking bass? You know, or like, and it's like,
the more you do all these different things, they all bleed into each other and they're all helpful in other things. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Big ups.
All that Sophia's like, I was right. It's a good thing.
I think it's just people have different opinions, but I think everything's valuable, and like I just wish people would stop hating on stuff for yeah. I don't know.
But that's always going to happen. Everyone, there's always been this thing for like, you know, since I can ever remember of like choreo people being like, oh, battles are stupid, and then battle people being like, oh, choreo is stupid, blah blah, and it's just, and everyone just like, and then choreo and battle heads are like, oh, theater's stupid, and theater's like, oh yeah, it's just like, everybody that, you know, and it's not everybody, of course, like not all choreo dancers think battles are stupid. A lot of our best battlers, Kate, like Brooke's a fucking choreo head, really.
Yeah.
You know, like he came from that, so it's not the case that all choreo, and the people that do traverse across like end up being sick, and like a lot of battle people that learn to choreograph like end up making some like fucking pro phenomenon. And
but you just look at battle heads in the UK, right? Like Sonny with Jukebox Juniors or Jukebox or whoever it was, right? And then you got Sean and Brooke, right, with Plague and that lot of choreo heads and whoever else they were with. Then you got Nick as well, who did Peridot
and Bird Gang, which
Bird Gang.
Is a little known fact.
Right.
That Nick was in the original Bird Gang.
I didn't know that. That's amazing, right? And then Breaks Flawless,
right?
Me, Toy Box and whatever.
And
Abe.
when I first started in the scene, let's say 2007, our entire top tier of hip hop dancers in the battle scene in the UK were all choreo heads.
Swarf and all that, like
Swarf, Kofi, Turbo, maybe Static's the only one.
Yeah. Static was
and maybe Ricardo, even though he did like Crump and stuff, but he was a hip hop head when I first remember. But like Kenrick, Rhymes, Ivan, there was maybe Malcolm and Static who weren't like choreo heads. The rest were all choreo heads, and it's like it built a lot of our scene. So
sick.
But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people that are like, because like I said, it's not everyone, but there's always going to be people that are like, the thing that I don't do is bad, and the thing that I do is good, until I do the thing that I don't do, and now that thing is good.
Doo-doo.
All right, let's
wrap it up.
Let's wrap this up. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You don't know about all the technical difficulties we went through, so I'm not going to thank you for bearing with us because I cut that bit out. But yeah, thanks to Lee for being here. Thank you, Tally, for being here most of all. She's invisible now. Thanks so much for having me, Luke. You're great. You're actually the best podcast And thanks, Sophia, for being here. And thank you most of all to the East London dance team and the Talent House, where they have hosted us at. We will be back next week. And
for you guys for watching.
And thank you guys for watching and going to the link in our bio and donating to the capsule. Thanks so much, guys. Wow. Oh, that's so nice of you. Wow, thanks.
Guess money.
All right, anyway. I always make this rap too long. That's why Jen always cuts me off with the fucking outro. All right, well, thanks everyone. See you next week.